As a decorated soldier, I was sent to receive a hero's welcome on a distant alien world. Their throne hall was vast, almost cathedral-like, lit by floating spheres of ember. Obsidian-armored nobles stood in two imposing rows, their faces hidden behind dark visors. I walked the long aisle, my combat boots echoing on the polished stone, and approached the raised platform where their chieftain sat. He was massive, intimidating, a warrior king from an ancient lineage. I gave a slight, respectful bow. This was supposed to be my reward for helping them win a war. Then, they brought it in. A ceremonial chain, glowing faintly with an inner light. It was beautiful and terrifying all at once. Alien guards escorted a woman into the hall. She was adorned in intricate ritual markings, her silver eyes filled not with joy, but with quiet uncertainty. And it hit me. She wasn't part of the ceremony. She was the ceremony. She was the reward. My reward. The chieftain began his speech, his voice booming across the hall, declaring victory and the presentation of this great honor. The crowd roared its approval, but I couldn't accept it. As they prepared to bind her with the glowing chain, I raised my hand. A simple gesture, but it sent a shockwave of silence through the hall. The nobles stared. The priests froze. Under the weight of 1,000 alien gazes, I walked forward, took the ceremonial chains, and gently unlocked them. The woman stepped back, her eyes wide with disbelief. She was free. I turned to face the chieftain, the court, the entire civilization and their history, and said, "No one is a reward." The hall erupted. The chieftain gripped his spear, his knuckles white. Warriors murmured in confusion, their hands on their weapons. From behind towering pillars, I saw small alien children peeking out, their curiosity overriding their fear. A glowing hologram flickered to life above us, projecting the ancient law, the tradition I had just defied. I crossed my arms challenging it, challenging them. I wasn't just refusing a gift. I was questioning the very foundation of their culture. The woman, now free of her collar, clutched it in her hands, her expression a mix of terror and hope. I gave her a respectful nod. She took a hesitant step and stood behind me, seeking protection. The tension was suffocating. Guards were unsure whether to attack or stand down. The chieftain slammed his spear into the ground with a furious roar that shook the chamber. I stood firm. I told them that my culture honors freedom, that a person can never be property. Whispers turned to heated debates among the nobles. Scholars frantically analyzed my gestures on floating data tablets. Then, something incredible happened. The chieftain's own daughter, watching from the side, didn't look angry. She looked intrigued. As the chaos mounted, the freed woman did something even braver than I had. She stepped forward. Her voice, though quiet at first, echoed with newfound strength as she questioned the tradition that had bound her. She asked her people why victory had to mean ownership. The elders were visibly shaken. Young aliens in the crowd began to nod slowly. One elder, enraged, smashed a ceremonial relic, protesting this break from the past, and the hall exploded in shouts of anger and approval. I stepped between the woman and the furious traditionalists, ready to de-escalate to protect. What followed was a revolution, not of weapons, but of ideas. The council convened in an urgent session. The woman, now a symbol of change, gave her testimony, her voice clear and strong. I was invited to speak, to explain the concept of individual liberty. That night, the youth of the city raised luminescent candles in the streets, a silent vigil for a new future. In a sacred chamber, the woman placed her hand on a truth stone, and it shone with a blinding light, affirming her sincerity. The tide was turning. The council passed new laws. The old tradition was formally abolished. A massive banner was unfurled, declaring the end of an era. I watched as she removed the last of her ritual markings and helped her tie on a new crest, one of independence. The city erupted in celebration. Lanterns floated into the sky, and people danced in the streets. She now walked through the markets in clothes of her own choosing, and vendors who once would have seen her as property now bowed in respect. The destroyed ceremonial chain was placed in a museum, a relic of a bygone age. Historians recorded the day a human soldier refused a reward and accidentally sparked a cultural renaissance. The chieftain, though reluctant, eventually acknowledged the change, seeing his daughter and his people embrace a new definition of honor. I stood with her, my friend, before a new sculpture dedicated not to conquest, but to choice. As we watched a new sunrise from a cliff overlooking a glowing alien ocean, I realized my greatest victory wasn't on the battlefield. It was in a throne room, with a simple, defiant act of compassion. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, consider subscribing for more tales from across the galaxy.